talking about restorative justice, and that is something that even people from the villages do not know anything about. Most times you discover that somebody is taken from the village and he does not really know exactly what has happened to him. He is taken to a custodian home, that's the prison, and he stays there for a very long time with no one to even go and say, hi, what is happening?
From the angle I'm coming from, that is Ministry of Justice, the Department of Public Prosecutions, we're purely prosecutorial in nature. That's our job. We prosecute cases, and once we scale conviction, our aim is just for the defendant to be punished punitively. So until today, I'm able to get that to know that the defendant can be punished in another way that will be friendly to the society generally. Restorative justice is all about reintegration, restoration, as the name implies. You restore back the person, the defendant, and even the victim. That the victim, the defendant who has committed a wrong should not be cast away, but rather he should be integrated back into the society. Having attended this workshop, certainly with the facilities on ground, if there are facilities that will make me create awareness, I think I will do so. In fact, we do plea bargain. It's a kind of a restorative justice, a kind of the orientation, the training, and stuff like that. Just like I said, until today, my intention is just to get secure conviction. Whatever, if I prove my case, you go and face the music. That's all.
My understanding was quite limited, but attending this program was an eye-opener actually. I knew about the criminal justice. It's a social problem in our society, crime and criminality. But looking at this from the perspective and the angle that this workshop put together, it opened up my understanding and worldview about restorative justice. I have a better understanding, I think. It's very critical, and it's at the foundation of the work and practice for social workers, for example. And for social work practice, actually, it's a collaborative team approach in all cases. There is no stand-alone case that the social worker will handle alone. We have social workers in the correctional services, we have them in the hospital setting, we have them in practically all the fields you can think about. And that was why I asked the question I asked initially. For instance, in the hospital setting, you have people who are pained, who are victims of crime and criminality, and they've lost so much to the point of losing even their lives. How about the victim? So this is bringing to bear that there is need for collaboration in this kind of approach to criminal justice in our society. Not just punishing the person who has committed the offense. Also look at the person who has been offended for a better society. A holistic approach to the extent that, yes, life may not be paid for, but the other person feels better. The other person feels appeased, or feels the weight of the crime or the weight of the offense is brought in a way that everybody feels happy at the end of the day. It's a win-win situation. While the offender has been punished, the victim is also rehabilitated back into society. So that when we meet together, we don't create more chaos. And that is why we have people in the correctional services. You know, they come back and then commit crime again and go back. And it's not better. People are bitter. People are offended. Communities against communities. And that is why we are where we are today. So I think this is a way to go. Because there is what we call spirituality also in social work. When we talk about the society, the human being is made of the body, soul, and the spirit. The physical body, the emotions. So it's all of a psychosocial approach, psychosocial and spiritual approach to every case. Because you can't talk about the complete human being without bringing in the spiritual aspect. So I want to commend the new executive director of the Nigerian Prison Fellowship and the entire team for putting this together, and the Ministry of Justice for also accepting this, you know, to run with this, because this is the first, I understand from the introductory aspect and the keynote address, that this is the first in North Central Nigeria. And I commend Plateau State for running with this, and I believe that it will cascade to other institutions in our society.
My understanding about restoration is victim-offenders relationship to be mended. The community needs to be empowered. The community leaders, the civil society, the religious leaders need to be empowered in that aspect, so that is an alternative to dispute resolution, where it will bring healing to the community. The Nigerian Correctional Service came into being by the Act of 2019, which repeals the former Prison Act. So the prison is what you were saying, what happened in time past. But the Correctional Service has come to bear. Now, we find out that we have dynamic prison security, where we find out that offenders are first human beings before they are incarcerated. So we take this humane punishment on them by the Mandela rules. But now this workshop has enlightened and broadened my horizon on the aspect of you find out that it's not every crime committed in the community that will culminate in offenders to come into prison. So there is need for the offenders and the victim to meet so that they will mediate, and there will be restoration. And that restoration will bring healing to the community and to better our society. And the influx of inmates into the custodial center that leads to congestion will not be there. By restorative justice, you find there won't be recidivism, because you find that inmates will walk out and come in because there's no proper rehabilitation program, because of a congestion in the system. So once there's congestion, you find out that the efforts of government will be thwarted. But with this restoration justice, because it has been captured by the 2019 Correctional Act, you find out, but it has not come full-blown into practice. The non-custodial measures, which has to do with parole, but the parole we have constituted a parole committee board, which is halfway home. If you have like 15 years to serve in custody and you have served maybe 2/3 of that, you will give you that 5 years so that you be in the community with specific rules to follow, of which we adhere, you still remain in the community. And that brings reintegration, make it more easier to reintegrate inmates into the society. This development is apt and is timely. And I must commend the conveners of this program, because this is the right time to bring all this program to bear. The Prison Fellowship, we have been partnering with them for a very long time. But for bringing this issue of restorative justice, which culminates into rehabilitation of our inmates in the custodial center, and it will also help in the reintegration of those inmates to the community.
I think